We're back. Next on the agenda is, we're going to discuss the new term expiration for Taft Library Building Committee. I believe they're all up for reappointment in June, and I think that we can make it simpler if when we reappoint them in June, to appoint them for the duration of the project. Makes it simpler and
For the
easier.
duration of the project, or should we appoint them yearly, and then once the project's closed, we just don't reappoint them?
I would say duration of the project.
Just haven't done any others that way.
Can it be
Which
done?
was that one?
Can we do it
Well,
open-ended like that?
what's the duration of the project is the
Right.
only concern.
Probably a year and a half, 2 years. I've been attending their meetings, and I would say, in my opinion, a year and a half to 2 years.
Then are we making that a motion tonight, or are you saying for when we do the appointments?
So when we do the appointments.
I would,
I
ultimately.
mean, we can confer with the chairman of that committee, and
Why don't we just put it 2 years out and,
I was just gonna say either make it annual, or just add, make it 2-year appointment, then
right.
it just expires after the, I just don't like the word duration of the
right.
project.
I mean, that's what we do with the long range. We actually extended that until
Right.
well
Yeah,
beyond.
just
we
do
were
it a
even
couple of
working
years, that
committee.
way they're there, they're sworn in, and they're, that's the group that'll do it.
Diane, would you invite the chairman of that committee in so that we can get his input, and then the board can make the decision that night? Yes, Mike?
Mr. Chairman, regardless of how you do it, I assume all three board members feel you want to keep the people that are there now, since they already have their feet wet and they know the process.
Absolutely. As I've said, I've attended a lot of their meetings, and we're fortunate we got a good group of people in the industry that know how to deal with contracts, especially in the construction industry. So I think we got a good group, and basically I want them to understand that we're backing them, and they don't have to worry about, well, do I have to hurry up, make a decision? Could I be bumped off, or what? There's some very good professional people there. So,
That'd be great.
all right, so with that being said, at our next meeting, have Joe Cronin come in. Discuss appointment of Robert Fletcher, 5 Leonard Road, custodians of soldiers and sailors' graves.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't have a problem with that. Robin has done wonders as our veterans agent.
I move to appoint Robin Fletcher of 5 Leonard Road as custodian of soldiers and sailors' grave effective March 21st, 2013, for a term to expire June 30th, 2013.
Second?
A motion has been made to appoint Robin Fletcher to the position of soldiers and sailors' graves officer for the town of Mendon, effective March 21st, 2013, for a term to expire June 30th, 2013. Discussion. I just want to read a couple of paragraphs that Robin sent us. Please consider my name for appointment to the position of soldiers and sailors' graves officer for the town of Mendon. Doug Taylor previously held this position, and upon his death, I have received much of the record which he held regarding the locations of the graves that he previously marked and maintained. As the veterans burial agent for the town, I see these functions as compatible and somewhat duplicate. I have already digitized all the names on Doug's handwritten list for each of the cemeteries, obtained cemetery plots for the Swandale and Quaker cemeteries, and have commenced to try to pick up where he left off in preparing to honor these soldiers and sailors who are entered into the many cemeteries in the town. Having said the position to which I seek appointment is somewhat duplicate of that of the Veterans Burial Agent, it should be noted that these two positions should be maintained as separately appointed positions for the future. In fact, the Veterans Burial Agent has responsibility for arranging interment in national and state, as well as other cemeteries not located in the town. So while some of the functions appear to be duplicate, they are not entirely duplicate functions and should be separately maintained as appointed positions of the Board of Selectmen. Thank you for your attention to this request. Sincerely, Robert Fletcher. So that pretty much explains the positions. Rich?
I know I probably don't need to say this, but he is the absolute perfect guy for it. Absolutely perfect.
Well, he is a veteran, so he knows firsthand. And I've known Robin for quite a many years, and there's a guy that's giving back to the community. Mike?
Mr. Chairman, if he still has them, should we try to keep Mr. Taylor's handwritten notes in the town's archive? I don't know what he has.
That's probably a good idea, Diane, when you let Robin know that he has been appointed. A suggestion's been made to get his handwritten notes into the town archives. Good point. So with that being said, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Next is discussion on a toll road request.
I move to allow the Men and Lions Club to hold a toll road at the intersection of Route 16 and North Avenue on Saturday, May 18th, 2013.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded to allow the Lions Club to hold a toll road at the intersection of Route 16 and North Avenue on Saturday, May 18th, 2013. Discussion? Rich?
Not that there's any chance I'd object, I was just curious if there was a specific destination for the funds. It's just that
I was gonna
The
ask if any-
The Lions Club would go to their whole site mobile campaign, and as well as, again, probably money for, the same money they collect for the country fair and the circus that's next on the agenda.
Dick?
I'd just like to point out that while it may come as a surprise to some people in town, there is another major intersection in town that people might want to visit at some time.
Oh, on 140 and
Yeah,
Harvard.
down in front of Dick's house.
Exactly.
He's got a lemonade stand out there. Rich, you know what? Diane, when you let the Lions Club know that we've passed this, ask them, a question's been raised, if there's a specific destination for the funds that they're going to raise. So, with that
Hold
being-
on, sorry. I'm just gonna slightly amend this to also say and/or the intersection of 140 and Hartford Ave, so they have their choice.
that's
But
fine.
they would need to notify public safety which one. So, hold on.
Amendments, an amendment's being added to that motion to allow them to also apply the toll road to Route 140 and Hartford Ave. Do we have a second on it?
You have a second on it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Sorry, I'm eyeing the in favor.
That's unanimous. And Rich will, we'll ask him what,
Was that vote on the motion
The,
change?
oddly enough, here, it's not as formal as we do at town meeting. If we just kind of note the adjustment, and then we don't make a vote for an amendment here.
as you can see, we're informal.
See that?
You don't have a problem with that, do you?
Not at all.
I didn't think so. Next on the agenda is discuss the circus permit request.
We're moving too fast. I'm not even done with this one.
I believe it's the, again, the Lions Club having their annual circus.
I move to allow the Mendon's Lion Club to sponsor a circus on the town-owned Pheno property on Route 16, Saturday, June 25th, 2013.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded to allow the Mendon's Lions Club to sponsor a circus on the town-owned Pheno/Taft Apple Orchard property on Route 16, Saturday, June 25th, 2013. Any discussion on that? All I can say is it's usually a good time. Bring the kids.
The location has slightly changed this year.
Yes, it was at the,
It used to be behind the 1820
country-
shop,
Yeah,
and now it is going to be in the field, or in the town space,
right.
right behind, right across from the school, I guess. It's the space between, because the
Oh, that's fine.
Pheno's retain the corner there.
It's always a good take. I recommend everybody to go and have a good time. All in favor?
Discussion.
Whoops.
Is that field presently being hayed by somebody?
We're in the process of going over a lease
Or a license.
agreement, or a license
The-
agreement with that.
Yep, that field with, sorry, Peter Hawks is currently the one that hays that field. He is aware that we do hold other functions there or allow parking there, and is aware that does take place.
Why, do you know something we don't?
No, if there's hay there, I mean,
Well, it's like anything. We're also trying to market that piece of property. That's why we're going through this lease and license. We're trying to change it a little bit to cover everybody's concerns that if we gave a lease, then how can we give another lease to somebody else for solar panels or an industrial park or casino or
power plant,
Power plant. No, we can't have power plants.
right, it's in the bylaw. But you follow what I'm saying is, so that we're trying to make sure that everybody's well aware of and be fair and equitable to all.
That
parties.
field is slightly more flexible than, because we do hold other events there, than, for instance, the Inman Hill. There's not something going on up there. There's a small, it's more passive things that recreation that happens up there, whereas, it's used for parking for the dealership event, it's used for parking for the Lions Club fair. So it's kind of, he's aware that we do that.
okay, and that,
You got a big smile on your face, so I can see that. Mike?
Mike, this is just as an aside, because you guys just brought it up, and I think about this often as I drive over here. Our town common is very small, as you know.
Right.
We take our kids to the Bellingham Town Common to let them play.
Sure.
I'm sure you've seen it, it's a beautiful place, they got all the walkways done up, they got the bandstand there. Sometimes we go to Hopedale. I'd love to see in the future, and I'd always thought about writing the board about this, to have a designated spot that we could open up and maintain for, I know it's parking over there, but I've walked through there with my son many times. It's really not maintained well, there's holes and there's a lot of, ups and downs.
Oh, yeah.
It's too bad somewhere in the future, and I know you get a lot on your plate, that the board couldn't think about opening up a space and having it available for community events, where the folks can all get together. I know we don't do a lot of that now, but, in the future, perhaps.
Well, times are changing, and again, we're working towards,
Although I'd like to see a casino there too, but.
you realize the revenue that could be generated, but anyway, that's a different topic. Again, it all comes down to, everything has a value and a cost associated to it, and I agree with you. I'd love to see a nice town common like what Bellingham has. That's beautiful down there. But we need so many other things first.
I agree. But community enjoyment's, important as well, and.
But talking about it just for the few minutes tonight that we did is making people aware that these are needs that we will have to address down the road. So, with all that being said, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Casey, are you here for anything? I don't want to keep you up,
No,
or
I
you
was
just...
just downstairs watching the planning board, keeping them on their toes. And I followed them upstairs, so
Okay.
I just figured I'd watch you guys for a while.
No, well, again, I appreciate you sitting in and attending. I was just concerned that, because I know you,
We missed some.
like myself, get up
If there
early.
was some place that, they actually sent me emails on the meetings and what they were about, I might attend some. Because I don't get the paper, I don't have cable,
Mhm.
so I guess I'm just a little hermit out on my farm. Maybe.
We're working on getting that fixed.
Right.
For you, those of you that don't know,
But actually, you know something, there's actually, you can at least get on the, we have an updated, as agendas come in, if you just give your email address to the town clerk's office, you can at least get on that distribution list for now, at least sends the Excel spreadsheet of when the meetings are taking place, which would be semi-helpful until we get the website straightened out.
Thank you.
for those of you that don't know, here in the audience and those at home, Casey's, he's been around since I've moved into town 27 years ago, and he stays on top of things, he cares about his community, and that's why I say, Casey, I see you here, if there's something specifically, we'll address it, but thanks for attending.
Thank you all.
Mike?
Did Mr. Tenio just suggest to him that he could get his name on the clerk's email for the?
I think so,
meetings?
I don't know, is that something you can't get on?
Well, no, but I've seen that, but we talked about it earlier, when you mentioned that, I hate to say this out loud, but I'm on Upton's email list, that they have a service with their website that you just click on, like you talked about earlier,
Yeah.
and they send you all their meeting updates and everything. We had a discussion earlier tonight about reaching out, more to the community. It's, so he brings this up, I think that's surprising. I think that'd be great if that in fact was the case, and you could let folks know that, for now, just to solve that
Right,
problem in the short term.
The only thing to caution about with that is,
Overloader with.
if, no, not even overloading her, the servers are gonna kick you. If there's too many people on it, you're gonna get flagged for spam, so, that's the drawback to it, but, again,
But this gentleman's a perfect example of what we talked about tonight.
where he doesn't have any other avenue, so again,
He's interested, he wants to
Yep.
be involved, but he just doesn't know these meetings are happening.
understood. And again, I think that's why we're trying to expedite this whole website piece, because again, it will be so helpful if it was correct, so, my apologies for the delay.
Do you get my emails when I send out the agendas with the selectmen?
Yes, because you guys appointed me to the Ag Commission. I do get Board of Selectmen meetings, that's the only one. I
Sure.
get.
The clerk's office gives you the whole list. Gives school committee everything.
Next on the agenda is discuss putting Stop and Save Auto Sales 54 Cape Road Class 2 license on hold.
I move to allow Keith G. Mondley, owner of Stop and Save, to put his Class 2 license on hold, which will allow him to not have to reapply for a Class 2 license next year.
Second.
The discussion on this is, I believe, slight financial trouble, and he's asked for a little consideration for the Class 2 license to just be held, and expects for better times throughout the summer, and I'm sorry, for next year.
I don't have a problem with that as long as we get every 2 months an update on what's going on. Is that too much to ask?
No. Okay, I would ask that, just more, maybe 2 months might be a little aggressive, I'd maybe say.
3 months, every 3 months, every quarter, we find out what's happening,
Sure.
and we do that for the year.
I mean, he's asking to put it on hold until
Ultimately-
next year.
Which would, well, actually, ultimately, these licenses all come out in December, right? So ultimately, it's a half a year.
Right, but my question is, ultimately, what does that mean? Can he still sell cars? Or
No.
he stop selling cars, but the license is not freed up
Correct.
to be given to someone else?
Correct. And I believe this is on This is the license that is on Route 140. It's in the commercial / residential zone. And he's limited to, I believe, 4 cars? Is that the?
I mean, just clarify, so do you have a concern that, well, if we have another individual that might be pursuing that license, do we want to hold this up? And, you know,
Well,
indefinitely?
that's what I believe he wants to,
Right.
he doesn't want to give the license up, he just,
I don't mind putting it on hold for you.
no, I don't mind working with him a little bit, but let's get an update, because, again, like giving a trailer permit
Mhm.
to a person that we've been doing it for 7, 8 years, because they're building their house in piecemeal. Let's not let it fall in the
Yeah, I
cracks,
didn't know if you wanted to
because-
put it on hold, you know, until the, you know, next year, or unless there's
No,
something comes to our attention, you know what I mean, that,
I would say put it on hold, right? I'd say put it on hold when they come in for the renewals this year, that he needs to come in here and discuss it with us. And if he needs, that we're not gonna extend the hold past that, he needs to then either purchase it or it's gonna be released.
and it's December, right?
He'd have to reapply and submit his fees and proof of his bond and his, certificate of liability insurance, just like anybody else.
Right,
But this is just a renewal, but, so if we put it on hold, it would just renew. We would have to renew.
Automatically.
No, right.
We're putting,
No,
we're tying up the license until it's time to renew, and at that point, I think what I heard is he's got to either move forward with it or just put it back into the
Or
process
or
and he
give it
starts
up,
all over.
Or give us a good reason why we should continue to hold it.
Right.
That's what I was getting at, is.
Right. Are you okay waiting until December?
Yes,
Cool.
Right.
that's six or 7 months away. That gives them some time to regroup and come up with a plan.
Yep.
So, do we need a formal motion on that?
I already did.
Yep.
And second it?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Discuss scholarship applications.
I would ask that, we're gonna go into executive session, at the end of this meeting. The scholarship applications, in past years, we've actually, kind of pre-gone into executive session. We can't go into executive session to do it, but we don't wanna publicly discuss the scholarship applications, because they've always been kind of a surprise to the person that's getting it. So what we do is we kind of ask everybody to leave, just shut the door, we pick the scholarship apps and then, approve them, and then the people are notified. We don't like to do it on TV or with everybody else in the room. As long as there's no, anybody concerned about that, that's always how we've done it in the past. So with that being said, there's one more motion we have for meeting minutes, and then we can see how that rolls.
Okay. Approve regular session meeting minutes of April 23rd, 2013, and executive session meeting minutes of April 17th and the 23rd, 2013.
I move to approve the April 23rd, 2013 regular meeting minutes and the April 17th and 23rd executive session meeting minutes, executive session minutes not to be released.
Second?
Any further discussion? So a motion's been made and seconded to approve the regular session meeting minutes of April 23rd and executive session meeting minutes of April 17th and 23rd, 2013. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Just a couple of quick things. The Town Forest Committee is seeking a new member for a 3-year term beginning 7/1/2013. Let's schedule that to be on the agenda for the next meeting. Set June meeting dates, the 4th, sign warrant, and the 18th, the question marks. When's our next meeting in May? The 21st.
We can kick these back to Monday, if that's easier for everybody.
Well, it's up to you, you know, does that work into the schedule?
I scheduled a public hearing.
Let's leave it on the 21st then.
Thank you.
We talked about that, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
All right.
Hold on one second. Let me change the date. We have it marked the 21st. Nothing next week? So the 21st. Okay. All right, so on the 21st, this board, the Board of Selectmen will set the dates for future meetings. Put that on the agenda for the 21st. I just want to remind everyone, there's a dog hearing on the 29th, May 29th. So, Diane, the Board of Selectmen will be relying on you to keep them up to date on any information and have that ready. Dog hearing, May 29th.
We have a vote. When are we voting, next week, Tuesday? The election's Tuesday, right?
Yep. So, the Board of Selectmen will make future meetings after that. I think we've covered everything.
Paying your 50 days?
I think we'll, I think the board will handle that the 21st.
And that.
Dick?
Two things which may have a common solution. We talked about video streaming,
Oh, yes.
and Mike Watson and I were talking tonight, and if you go to video streaming, we may be able to come up with a way of one switch turning this on and one switch turning it off, which means you don't need a camera operator. If you're failing to do that, you're going to need one sometime in June, because I
Okay.
don't wish to do this more than one night a month.
Okay.
If there's no one manning the camera, would it just be in one place? So if
Static.
someone in the audience is talking, you're not gonna be able to see who it is?
Static all night.
Mr. Chairman, I've seen other towns have their Board of Selectmen's meetings, and they have I'd have to look back to see what towns they have, but they have a stationary camera, and they have the seats situated so that folks that come up and talk, we obviously wouldn't be able to do this anymore. You want someone on camera, they have to come up and talk.
Right.
But it is a stationary camera, it's just a wider view, but at least the folks at home can still see you and hear you. But it would alleviate the problem that Dick speaks of. And I don't know how the board feels about it. Mr. Chairman, I talked to you in the past about it, why I pulled out of that position, but I've already trained in it. And I hear tonight that Dick's getting no feedback for anybody to help him. So I certainly would step in if he's in a tight spot and cover that camera for a night until you guys make a decision. Because I don't think you should have to do it, and I think he's been great to do it for you, every single time you have a meeting.
I appreciate you offering to step in when needed.
But the solution he talks about, I think, would work for you.
And I'm going to turn that over to our IT person.
I know it's already in my court, and my apologies for delaying it.
We're going to be working on it. Thank you, Dick. Again, just don't let it fall through the cracks either. Anything else from anybody? Mike?
Mr. Chairman, I just had one last thing. I don't know if the board can help me with it or point me in the right direction. I'm not even sure if this is the right forum to bring it. In the past 6 months, we've almost been whacked 3 times at the light here in the center. It's not, unique to Mendon to have a situation like this. The town I worked in, we had a couple of spots that were always, situations. Most towns don't have Route 16 running through them though. And what I've seen that happens is people coming up the hill, the light starts to turn yellow. So instead of slowing down, they gun it to try to make the light. Same thing as they come the other way. The first time I had my son in the back, a lobster truck came through, light turned completely green. If I would have just gone, they would have, sideswiped us. So it's a concern because it's happened 3 times. I'm sure there must be other folks in town that have seen this. If you don't wait sometimes, you know, when it turns green, if you don't wait a minute, look both ways, people bang through that. I don't know if there's anything the chief can do. I know he can't do, you know, extra, you know, observation in that area is not gonna solve the issue. So I just didn't know if maybe we could run it by, you know, the chief to see if there's some resolution, if there's some different signage that can slow people down or something, or if the board even thinks it's a concern. I know that, you know, personally for our family, it's been a concern. And again, you know, 3 times in the last 6 months. Worries me.
The big problem with that intersection is that we were on the, it needs to be redone. And the, I think we kind of been we had a plan for it on the state bid list, and then we were putting money in, because we had to pay the engineering, not on the state bid list, I'm sorry, on the tip list, where, you know, you get on it and 5 years down the road, you end up getting the work done, but you have to pay the engineering fees, and we were putting money in and then decided, okay, let's just pull off of that, because there's some action up there right now from, of a possible whatever's gonna go on the corner. You know, we hear of everything from, you know, CVS to a Hess gas station. So, once that gets all hashed out, then that is going to probably kick in the fact that the planning board will want that intersection redone. We do want the intersection redone with whoever is gonna kinda go there. So that, although it's on the horizon, but again, for the immediate concern, we can definitely check with public safety to see if we can get whatever, anything done, that we can get
So
it
I
on.
didn't even know it was on your radar, so you're saying it's on your radar, so that's encouraging.
It has been for probably 5, you know, at this point,
I'd say
maybe,
5 years.
yeah, probably next year would have been the tip list time, and again, given the financial plight that we were in, we kind of pulled back because we didn't think we'd be able to, because what ends up happening is they just kick you off if you don't show that we didn't have the availability of the funds to be able to put in, so we kind of just got off, and knowing that we could possibly get this done by a developer with everything, with all the action that's on the corner.
So if somebody goes in there, they'd be responsible for
Well, that would be the
That's up-
presentation.
Yeah, it's up to the planning, right, it's up to the,
Who's ever making the deal.
it's not a guarantee.
There's a lot
But-
of factors. That's the state section of roadway.
Right.
So the state would be involved a little bit. So it's a little complicated, but it's been on the radar for as long as I've been a selectman.
But again, we could, if we could just widen it a little bit in all directions, we could then have 2 lanes be able to mark them, but it's just not wide enough to be able to make it a 2-lane, you know, right turn only, left and straight, or whatever like you see in downtown Milford everywhere. So yeah,
I think
it's,
the biggest problem is coming up the hill in such a straight shot. There's no need for anybody to slow down right now, so they're coming up that hill, and the light starts to turn yellow, and they gun it instead of slowing down. Just, you know, having seen it, having been through a lot of accidents, it's a concern. And then certainly being in the vehicle and seeing the truck come behind when I got my kid in the car, you know, concerned me even further, so.
definitely understood. I think that one of the biggest problems we have at that intersection is the congestion, especially during rush hour, because we don't have any right-onlys or left-onlys. So what happens is, you know, as you're coming home and it's 6 o'clock at night, and now that the drive-in's open and you've been stuck in Hopedale for 2 hours trying to get over the top of the hill, frustration completely mounts, and by the time you're coming up the hill and you see that sucker turn yellow, I definitely know exactly what you're talking about, especially traveling in and out there every day. And it's definitely a concern and definitely on the radar to get it taken care of.
Thank you.
I can say at 4:30 in the morning is how much traffic up there.
You never stop through there, Mike, have you?
Anything else before we retire into executive session? Rich, you have anything?
Well, it's kind of late, but I'll make it real quick. I wanted to just thank everybody that participated in the town cleanup. We didn't have as many residents who would like to hoped. I'd like to be able to thank Dick Grady for doing North Ave and Ann Mazar for taking care of Pleasant Street. So hopefully next year we'll have more resident participation. Because the number of scouts, we got a good portion of the heaviest part of the town's done, and I think we did a reasonably decent job. And thanks to the Lions for the lunch you're doing.
Terrific. Diane, you got anything? Casey? All set? Willem? Mike? Mark, you got
Motion to
anything you'd like to
adjourn.
say?
Going around the room asking everybody?
Well, just want to be courteous. No.
It's 10:30.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Are we going to go into executive session?
Well, yeah, I would just ask, we're gonna not go into executive session because we can't go into executive session to talk about this, but we would ask that everybody leave while we do this scholarship determination. That's what we would ask. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you for attending.